All right, TK, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to be talking with you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Excited to be here as well, man, and talk to Survivor, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years since Survivor 47 finished filming. So how have you been since everything wrapped?
I have been great. It's actually crazy that it's really been 2 years. It doesn't feel like that. I mean, every time you turn the season on, you just like, I feel like I was just out there. But I do feel a little bit removed. I actually haven't had the chance to even watch like 48 or 49 just because I was still so locked in on my season and everything. It takes a while to kind of bounce back from it. So it's been good. And now I'm back in the flow and watching 50, and it's been amazing to just see all these great players in here. So it's been fun.
Was there anything difficult about getting back into normal life after the show, whether that's the filming or the airing of the show?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say one thing that was interesting about it was you don't have your phone for like a month, right? You don't have social media. You don't have any of these things. And you think that was going to be the main thing that would like drive you crazy. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to have my phone. I'm not going to be able to talk to anybody. Honestly, coming back to real life, I felt a little overwhelmed being back. Like, you know what I mean? And having my phone again and having to communicate with everybody all the time. It was just kind of like, what the hell is going on? This is like a lot to deal with right now. So it was a little bit of a transition. It took a couple months to really feel like I'm back. I used to have dreams, man, like that I would wake up thinking I was still on the island. It was so crazy. So it took a little while to kind of bounce back and just get back into the flow of things. But I'd say about 4 or 5 months, I was feeling normal again.
Do you think that would have been any different had you gone longer in the game? I mean, you were only there for a couple of days, so don't you go right home away, or how does that work?
Yeah, actually, the irony is I still talk to a bunch of my mates from 47 and people who made it significantly further than me were dealing with the same issues. You know what I mean? So it's actually funny. I think that's just a part of the game because you always feel like there's something I could have done that could have changed what happened, right? So it doesn't matter. And you got to remember, like only one person wins each season. So you're going to have 17 other people who are pissed off or upset about how things went. And you're always just thinking in your mind, like, damn, if I would have did this, or dang, if I would have did that, or maybe if I said this, or maybe if I went and talked to this person. So I don't know if it changes. I don't know if it, even John, who was out, first 2 days on our season, I think he probably will still tell you that, damn, I was thinking that I could have changed a bunch of stuff that maybe could have changed the whole narrative around me. So.
Yeah, so we'll get into you and your season a little bit later. But let's talk about the current season, season 50.
Yeah.
So you're watching, right? But you said you skipped 48 and 49.
Yeah, I am watching 50.
So, so how are you liking it so far? 2 episodes in.
Loving it right now. I will say I'm biased. Obviously, I'm a pro Genevieve. That's my dog. So I want her to do amazing, and I hope that she wins. But I'd say from a non-biased point of view, is just purely a fan. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody have a hotter start to a season than Christian right now. Like he is unbelievable. And I mean, from every aspect, I mean, from finding idols, making the right decisions with those idols. Now they're planting fake idols at Tribal. I mean, he's having great social game with everybody. I mean, he made a fire with glasses. I mean, there's nothing that he can't do at this point. So I think just seeing what's happening here, you're seeing a lot of next level gameplay, and not only with him, but you have a lot of strategists in this season. So it's been fun to just see all these people put together, and I'm curious to see how this works. Also, 24 people, ridiculous, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how the flow of this game goes with more people included as well.
Yeah, so you mentioned Genevieve, Christian. Who else are you rooting for in the season? Who are some of your favorites?
I wasn't a huge Rick Devens fan, but I'm really liking Rick right now too. I think another really, really low-key person that no one's really talking about, and I understand why, but Jonathan, right? He's a really physical guy, and everybody looks at him in that way, but you can tell that he's making it a really big point this year to be more strategic, but he's not letting anyone know this. So I feel like that's going to come into play later on because he's just going to keep playing that role. Even when you watch him in challenges where he's doing like somersaults out of the ropes for like no reason, all of this stuff, I think in my mind, he's doing intentionally for you to just keep looking at me as just this piece of meat. This is what I'm doing. But I'm thinking that next step. I think Sari is also always a problem every time she's in it. I mean, this is like her 100th time playing the game, but she is a really amazing strategist as well. So I think there's a lot of good people in here. I mean, I like D as well. Again, Genevieve is extremely smart. I think Genevieve is going to start making her plays soon. The one thing I will say is I think guys like Coach and Ozzy, man, I don't know. I feel like they're I don't know. I feel like they're just phased out of this type of new era of game, man. It just seems like they're still so stuck in their season. They gotta move on from that and start, getting these wheels turning.
What are your thoughts on the cast as a whole, like the breakdown of being a 12 new era and 12 pre-40? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's always been a conversation of what was better. You know what I mean? Old school Survivor or the new era Survivor. And one of the things I said on my season when I was coming in, when we were doing all of our content prior to the game, was I told everybody my hot take was that I felt like old era Survivor was better. I thought it was a little bit more difficult to play back then. And I thought also just from the aspect of like relationship building, it was different because people were loyal, a little bit more loyal back then. Especially because you had to be out there a little bit longer and you had to actually do things together. And now it's just about numbers, right? Everything could change in a day. Like everything's gone. But you look at people now, they've worked together 10 years ago. They're still trying to work together now in this season. So it's one of those things where I feel like people were more loyal back in the day. And that made it a little bit more strategic to actually try to pull someone from an alliance and get them over to you, because you actually really had to convince someone how to do that. So that really took skill back in the day. So. But I think it's interesting, two totally different dynamics. People want to play with honor and trust and this, and then you got the new era where they're like, we don't care about any of that. We're cutting throats all day. That's what it's all about. So we'll see who comes out victorious, but I think it's a good mix.
And someone you didn't mention for you're rooting for is Emily. Do you not root for the fellow Maryland person?
No, Emily's good too. Emily's a dog too. I think Emily has just been playing like real low key. Obviously, in her initial season, she was one of those people who rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and she made a huge change from her personality standpoint about trying to be a little bit more in the moment, a little bit more personable, all those different things. But I think right now she's buried under Rick and Christian in their alliance. So it's hard to kind of see her gameplay. So hopefully she starts popping out and making some moves like as this thing goes on. But right now it's hard to pay attention to Emily when her alliance is Rick and Christian and these guys are all over the place.
So what about the 48 and the 49 people, Joe and Kyle and Camilla? Are you aware of them at all since you didn't watch the season? Or?
Yeah, I've actually met Camilla. Awesome person. So big fan of Camilla, incredibly intelligent. I think she's going to go far in this season as well. Kyle, I have not had the opportunity of meeting yet, and obviously I didn't get to watch his season. But even just the beginning of 50, I can see why he won his season. I mean, Kyle is a player. He's a great strategist. He's really, really sociable. Real personable person. So I think like he's hitting on everything that you would want, and it sucks to see him go out the way he went out. I mean, after winning a season like that, now you get to go play with all these legendary players that he's probably watched his whole life. And this is like this huge experience. And then you start off as hot as he did, right? And then you're out because of something you can't control. It sucks. But I think our new era people are doing great. I mean, obviously Savannah got voted out, but I think Savannah was actually very much mentally where she needed to be. She knew everything that was going on. I mean, she saw the whole Sari and Ozzy thing from a mile away. She knew everything that's happening. So I think our new era people are looking good. But it just sucks for, our heavy hitter like Kyle to be out of the mix now. I mean, I think he was a favorite for everybody. So.
Yeah, you mentioned meeting Camilla. You met Genevieve. Is there anyone else in this cast that you've met before?
Met Jonathan. I met Jonathan. Who else have I met? I think that actually might be it. Camilla, Jonathan, Genevieve. Yeah, I think that's all I've actually met in person. So not many people in person. I follow we all follow each other on Instagram, and we'll talk every now and then in DMs and stuff like that. But haven't really had a chance to meet everybody in person.
And what about from your season? There's only one person on the cast, Genevieve. Who are some of the snubs, even just from your season? Rachel, Andy, Sam. Who are the snubs that you want to see in this cast that aren't there?
Ooh, I would have loved to have seen Annika in something like this. Annika is like, she lives, breathes Survivor. She's also just an incredibly smart person, real big strategist as well. I think she would have went crazy in a season like this. Obviously Rachel as well. Obviously she's our winner, and that's my dog too. So would have loved to see Rach get a chance. And obviously as a winner, I was actually interested why she didn't get a chance. But I mean, I don't go in depth into how they do the casting, but I think Rachel would have been a really, really good person in there as well. But I'm thinking Rachel and Annika would have been nice to see. Yeah, and I give a shout out to Asia too. Asia as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you keep up with Andy, but Andy, he was originally going to be on the cast supposedly, and he's replaced by Rizzo. So we just missed out on Andy on the season.
Oh, wow. No, I did not speak to Andy about it. I did not know that. It would have been funny to see Andy out there too. I mean, Andy's an interesting cat, and he's a polarizing character once you get to know him, man. And it's hard to not pay attention to Andy. So I think he would have been good on that island too, especially with all those different personalities. It would have been fun to see how that fit in.
Yeah, and then it was Marianne on the cast, and they replaced Marianne with Savannah. So 2 great characters we missed out on.
Yeah, 1,000%. But I think Savannah gave us, what she could. Savannah has a lot of personality too. I don't think we got to really see everything we could have seen with Savannah, but I think she was a good replacement though. I'm not mad at that.
And what do you think of them casting Savannah and Rizzo in back-to-back seasons like this that, the people didn't know their game coming in, obviously?
Well, I think it's an advantage for those two, right? I mean, no one knows how they played. So I think it's a big advantage for those. But I think, okay, so I'll give you my Rizzo take right now. Because, again, I didn't get to see his season, but I've seen a lot of people talking about him and the Riz God and all this thing. I see all the stuff. But he has to change this work ethic thing on the island, man. I don't know if fans realize how important camp life is, right? And like contributing to that. And if you don't, I mean, early on, they're still very early in, right? They're only about 7 or so days in right now. Everybody's still not as like frustrated as you're going to be once you get to day 10, 12. When you're not eating, you're not hydrated. When you're pissed off at camp and you're tired, you're hungry, you're hot, you're irritable, and someone's not pulling their weight, that could be the straw that gets you out of the game immediately. So I think it's one of those things, man, where you got to just realize he has to change that. Even if you're just acting like you're working, bro, just pick up a couple sticks when you come back to camp. Just do little things that makes it seem like you're doing other things other than just playing the game and going to the challenges. So he has to make an adjustment there.
Yeah, that was my next question. That you a pet peeve you mentioned in your bio was unmotivated people. So I guess
Yes.
Rizzo and those people in that tribe would have bugged you.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm Q and I would have got together great. Like we would have got along so great because I feel like we had the same mindset as far as everybody has to pull their weight. Like you can't, if we're all out here and we're all struggling, and if I'm out here exerting my energy to bring food back for the tribe or to get sticks back for the tribe so we can have fire, do whatever we need to do, like, and you're not doing those things, feels like I'm almost putting myself at a disadvantage because you're conserving your energy. I'm out here expending mine. And we're on the same team, but you're also, my adversary at the end of the day. So I need us to be on the same playing field. So even from a strategic standpoint, I don't like the idea that you're conserving energy while I'm expending it. So I think that's a big thing too.
Was there anybody in your tribe who was like Rizzo that didn't do a work around camp?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say that. I'd say Sue was a little more in the. She didn't do as much, but I wouldn't say she was like Rizzo at all. Like Sue still put her work in. She would still grab things for the camp. Maybe not to the extent that like myself or Kyle or any of those types we're doing, but I think Kyle and I actually just did way more than what we should have been doing. But I think that was more just because we enjoyed the experience of just actually being out there. Kyle legitimately lives off the land in real life. And that's my brother right there. He lives off the land in real life. So I was just loving the experience of learning from him how to do all these different things that I've never done before. But I think for the most part, we had a pretty strong work ethic with our tribe. But I think that's a generational thing too. I don't think we had any Gen Zers on our tribe. So I think we were good.
Yeah, we talked about Savannah and Kyle, but what about Jenna? Jenna, the first person on Survivor, the first person voted out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of poetic, right? I mean, but she came in a little too hard. I mean, sometimes you gotta ease in. I tell people all the time, right? People think that your strategy is the most important thing in Survivor, and it's really not, right? Your strategy is the second most important thing in Survivor. The most important thing in Survivor is who you get placed with. That can change everything. You can have the exact same strategy, and that thing will give you 2 totally different results with 2 different tribes, right? So the people you're put with, you kind of have to adjust as you see fit. And I think Jen was just going so aggressive, and I think she knew what she wanted and how she wanted to play. And I'm not mad at that at all. I mean, go out on your sword, right? Go out on your shield. I love that she played her game. But I think that was just one of the things where she was pushing names so fast. Like you're trying to get people so fast. And then especially somebody like Sari, like come on now, like, that there's consequences for things like that. So I think she just tried to play hard. And I think if it worked out her way and she actually got her vote out that she needed, I think she would have been able to control the game from that point. So it's a risk you take, Yeah,
and going back to Kyle, Kyle was aligned with Genevieve, and now Kyle's out of the game. So Genevieve, she's down an alliance member.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to pop in Rizzo there, I think. So yeah. I think that's there. But again, like I said, I think Riz is going to push himself out with that work ethic later on down the line. And again, I can see somebody like a Q or a Colby they're saying this is cool right now, but I think once you start getting deeper in, they're going to get more and more frustrated with this. And I think it's going to be a situation. And I know a tribe swap's coming now, so maybe that's the luck that Rizzo gets. He gets to get on a tribe who maybe doesn't care as much. Maybe he gets to get on a tribe with a guy like Jonathan where he can kind of just hang back because Jonathan is going to be the provider anyway, and he can just play the game. But I think it really just determines where these people fall. But I don't think their alliance is strong enough to last being separated in this tribe swap. So I don't think their alliance is a strong one like that. So
what do you think of the standoff from episode 1 with Genevieve and Aubrey? They're trying to size each other up.
Yeah, I mean, well, G is a shark, man. So you can't play with Genevieve. She is a shark. I think Aubrey's also one of those old school people. I mean, you see she's struggling just trying to keep up with the social game of being out on that island. Again, people got to understand how hard it is to really be out there and you're in the woods, you're uncomfortable 24 hours a day, right? So you're always uncomfortable and you're trying to play this game. And Genevieve is somebody who she can separate the two, right? And Aubrey's obviously having a hard time separating the two. She's very much struggling physically and mentally with just the living aspect of it. And now you got to play this game as well. But I think the one thing that was really interesting is Genevieve, they searched Aubrey's bag and they vetted her, and now she's clean in their eyes, but now she actually has the idol. So I think that's an advantage for Aubrey because now she can walk around almost scot-free because everybody's like, oh, we already checked her. We know she's good. But now she actually has it. So who knows, man? Who knows if that turns into something dangerous?
Do you think the people that played the 39-day game before are now playing the 26-day game, it makes a difference at all?
1,000%. I think it's a totally different game. I think also back in the day, you got rice up front, right? You got food up front, which is a huge game changer. Like that sustains you for a little bit. So you can kind of play the game with a normal, rational mind because you're feeding yourself every day, right? As opposed to starting out where you're thinking, oh, you're 2 days in without food, you'll be fine. But you got to realize, like, we're building shelters, we're doing challenges, we're hunting for food that we're not getting half the time. So you're using all this energy up. And I think like in that 26 days, it almost feels like a 50-day venture because you're not given anything. You have to earn everything. And I think back in the day, 39 days is tough anywhere, right? To have to struggle like that. Honestly, I don't know if I would have survived 40 days out there, even if I had played that game. But I think it's an interesting dynamic. I think just not having anything, it speeds up the game. It speeds up the game and it speeds up your struggle as well. So.
And you know better than anyone earning your supplies, right? You and Asia on that first challenge, right?
Yeah. And which was no joke. And I will say, shout out to Asia, but I will say that was a real challenge. That's what people want to see. If you're going to go out to a journey and do some type of challenge against each other, that's what you want to see. I would say I was not a big fan of the Tetris building blocks challenge that they did. Also, that was I was just like, what are we doing here? This is nobody wants to see this. Like, you know what I mean? This is not a challenge that seems exciting, but yeah, I mean, it's huge coming back to your tribe with supplies. And if you come back without it, I mean, you're looked at almost like, what are you even here for? You know what I mean? You're trying to build equity with your tribe. So when you come back with those supplies, you're almost like a rock star for the next couple of days. So that's a huge, huge win when you get it.
If you were on the season, who do you think that you would have aligned with?
Ooh, I guess it just depends on what tribe I'm in. You know what I mean? I would have loved to, again, play with a guy like Christian, just seeing how he's playing the game. I think if you gave me Christian and Rick, oh my God, we would have been insane. Me, Christian, Rick, Emily would have been crazy. But I'm looking at a lot of these top. I think me and Q would have been great TV. You know what I mean? It would have been fun to see. Me and Genevieve, honestly, we would have loved to work together. We mentioned that even with our season, we would have loved the chance to actually have worked together. I think Genevieve and I would have been a great mix too. And honestly, that's what I'll go with as my answer. Genevieve, since we already have a prior relationship, I think had we actually went out there together, I think we would have killed it. Do
you have a winner pick for the season?
Again, my biased pick is Genevieve, but my unbiased pick right now is I keep saying it's gotta be Christian. Until I see otherwise, somebody step up and really dominate. But I mean, think about the camera time, man. I feel like the last 2 episodes just all Christian. So yeah, my guy, he did have an accident. You know, he had a little bit of an accident, but I mean, he's killing it in every other aspect, man. So I gotta say it's gotta be Christian right now.
And is there anything else you want to touch on about 50 before we get to you and your season a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, I think we're just seeing. I will say one thing that I'm noticing here is Joe. Joe has to find a way to adapt. I saw a little bit of his season. I know he was very, very close with his people and he played a loyal game. But at some point, you got to notice that you're rubbing people the wrong way. And I think he noticed it. I mean, he had a whole argument, you know what I mean, with Rick on the island about like not being adaptable and not playing the game. And he's basically mad at people for playing Survivor. And it's like, come on, bro, you got to kind of just let people play the game. If you know you have an alliance, you got to believe that that alliance is looking out for your best interest. Obviously, Rick and Christian and Emily are really the true three. But at the same time, it's like, Joe, you're not going to work your way into that mix when you're having these people have to play around you the whole game. So I think different things like that where I respect playing your game. I respect it 1,000%. And that's a big reason why I was out on my season. I wanted to come and play my game. So I respect it. But I think when you have the opportunity to adapt, because they're winning right now, right? So it's not like they're losing and he has to find a way to keep himself. Like they're winning. So it's like you need to figure out a way where you can adapt and adjust and be a part of this team without rubbing people the wrong way, because eventually they're going to take you out just for the strength of you irritating everybody. So.
And you mentioned before just being in the right starting tribe. I don't think this was his people. There could be people in other tribes that he work with, like a Jonathan, a Stephanie, a Colby. So I think he's just got to find his people.
He's just got to find his people. I think a guy like Coach and Joe would be literally perfect for each other. That's like the perfect marriage. Joe is, I'm all about trust. Coach is, I'm honor guy, integrity, all that good stuff. So I think they would work perfect. But again, with this tribe swap, we'll see where this comes out to. But again, Joe, if he locks in on a person and says, this is my alliance member, and that's all he wants. Like he doesn't really branch out much, you know what I mean? And he needs to start branching out a little bit. And you can play this loyalty game, but I think he feels like once I align myself with somebody, I can no longer align myself with anyone else. And I think he needs to get out of that mindset if he wants to really make a splash, because everybody's killers in this season. So you can't just go under the radar like you had in your season. So
is this similar to how you would have played it all, or you would have played it very different from Joe?
Oh no, very, very different from Joe. I mean, again, I am all about playing the game and being aggressive and playing my own game. So I wouldn't have minded. I would have loved the fact that Christian and Rick were doing what they were doing. I think that would have been something where we would have got along even better because they were doing what they were doing. Because the goal in my mind would be, let's align together. I see that all of you guys are strategic. I see all you guys are social players. I know how it's going on. Let's all lock in. So when we get to the merge or we get to a tribe swap, I know we have this talent. Let's bring in as many people as we can bring in, and we keep ourselves as the core. So when we get to the merge, if I got 2 extra people from when they did this tribe swap and you got an extra person, now we got all of these, let's call them goats, right, that we can lead, and we're still our top 3. And I think that's what Joe needs to look at this from that perspective of, you guys aren't telling me everything. It's like, okay, I get it, but you need to let your team operate how they operate, because that's how they're going to play their best. And as long as their eyes aren't on you, who cares? The goal is just to make it past one more tribal each week. So that's what you got to look at it as, is like, let's let the players play. And I'm an aggressive player. I see myself as an aggressive player. I think that's why I had targets on my back my season. But I think I would have played just as aggressive. And when you have people who have equity in the game of Survivor, like every single person in this season does, you kind of have to play aggressive. You can't play the docile game because it's just not going to work.
So let's talk about you and your season now. So what is your casting story? How did you end up on Survivor in the first place? How many times did you apply? Tell me the full story.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually just started watching Survivor in like 2020 when COVID hit. So it was a funny story there. One of my old bosses, he actually got me on the show. He told me to watch it. I had never heard of the show before. Like I heard of it casually, but I've never watched it, never knew what it was about. And he's like, you got to watch this show. But me and him, we don't necessarily see eye to eye on all things media when it comes to certain things. So I didn't necessarily know if I would like it or not, but I ended up moving to California during COVID, and everything was shut down in LA at the time. So I was like, all right, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to sit and watch this show he's been telling me about. And I went on Netflix and I put on one of the seasons. I think it was one of the seasons in the 30s or something. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, oh, this is cool as hell. Like, this is actually a really, really cool game. And I just started binge watching all the seasons. And one day I was just sitting in there and I was with my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, man, I can do this. And she kind of looked at me and was like, no, you couldn't. And that was all I needed to motivate me to say, I'm going to apply for this thing. And oddly enough, I applied only one time. And I was actually supposed to be on season 46. But at the exact same time that I got basically, I moved forward to the process of being put on for 46. I actually got promoted at my job, and my job gave me an ultimatum ultimately and said, hey, you either can take this this new position in which we need you to come to this event, or you can go on Survivor and we can't do anything with you. So obviously I've been working my whole life for my career, so I went that route. But luckily CBS, liked me enough that they allowed me to come back the very next season. And I told my job, like, I don't care what you guys say. If I'm passing up on this opportunity this time, you have to let me go on the next season. And they agreed. So I was able to get on, and it was it's a long experience, man. It takes months and months and months to go through the process. So, but it was interesting. Lucky enough, I was able to apply one time and get it. But I know people who've applied for years, and I think either way, as long as you get on, and that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. So what does that say about you that, you go through the process one time and you're on? People apply for decades and, they don't get on. So what does that say about you? Your personality, you get on one shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the personality is a good thing. I think I had a different look too than what they're used to. I think just my background in general was different. I think the fact that I wasn't somebody who had been watching Survivor my whole life was intriguing to them as well, because I was coming in with almost like fresh eyes of the game and how to play the game. And there was just certain things I would tell them on how I think, like, oh, I hate the way that, like, back in the day, everybody would try to find like the weakest players and kind of gather those people around. And I was like, I hate that. Like, I want to play with the strongest people on the island. Like, I want to play with the most dangerous people. That's literally what I want to do, because I feel like I'm going to be a dangerous player, and I want to have as many shields around me as possible. So I think just going into it and being myself, I think that was the main thing. And for all the fans who always ask, like, what did you do in your videos to get on? And I just tell people, like, Survivor's been doing this for years, and they can smell BS a mile away. So just be yourself, authentically you. And if you are, I think you give yourself a great shot at getting on.
And after going on the show, are you any more or less invested in the show? But some people, they go on the show and they get, peek behind the curtain and they're less invested. Are you more or less into the show now?
Yeah. So that's where I'm torn. I think the last couple of years I've been less invested. Obviously, like I mentioned, I hadn't watched. And I think, to your point, once you see how the sausage is made a little bit, it kind of does make you take a step back. But some people, if you watch this your whole life and this has been ingrained in you your whole life, I can totally understand why this is a part of what they do. So even the fact that they got on the show and maybe it didn't go the way they wanted, they can still watch the show every day because that's been ingrained in them since they were children, right? For me, I came in so new, and it was just like, oh, I just love the concept of the game. I just love the game. I have a lot of other things I have passions in, so this isn't like my only passion project or anything like that. So I think, I think it's just, I did take a little bit of a step back because I got a little bit Survivored out just with so much Survivor talk that you have to do for so long, for almost a year and a half. I was having to do that. But now I feel nice and refreshed, and seeing 50, I'm getting the love back for it again because I'm able to watch it at an elite gameplay level with all these different legends that I've watched when I first fell in love with the show. So I'm falling back in love with it again. So I think they got me back. I'm back now. So I'll be watching moving forward.
So do you think you being a new fan as opposed to someone who's a lifelong fan, it makes it a little easier of a pill to swallow being an early boot?
No. I don't. I'm too competitive, man. I'm a competitive guy. And I hated the fact that I was out as early as I was. But honestly, I would have been just as pissed off if I was out, day 22. I would have been just as mad. So me as a competitor, I just feel like I always want to be the best at whatever I'm doing. So that's obviously something that's been attached to me my whole life. I've always been a high competitor like that. So no, I don't think me watching it as a casual fan made it any easier for me to be early. I mean, my friends all still joke on me to this day, like, dang, man, you couldn't make it past episode 2. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, it's one of those things where you got to live with it. But again, I just tell myself it was a blessing just to be able to step foot on that island and put my feet on the sand and actually make a mark and actually just be a part of the lore of what Survivor is. It's just amazing. So can't be mad at that.
Did you know you were going to be voted out when it happened, or you were kind of blindsided?
Absolutely not. No, that was absolutely a blindside. I mean, I had thought, I made enough headway with, my people, my alliance with me, Kyle, and Tiana. I never really trusted Gabe. I knew we kind of had him as a throw-in. I never really trusted him, but I didn't realize how deep Gabe was in with like Sue and Caroline and all that good stuff as early as he was when I was out getting supplies. And that's where I realized now that I look back at it, most people who go to do the challenge for the supplies end up being voted out fairly quickly because they weren't in on those early hours of bonding and building vibes and having these conversations. And I missed all of that. And that's a thing that I think the fans don't realize, how long you're actually gone when you go on those journeys. I mean, you're gone for hours. I mean, hours. So, I mean, you never know how many conversations happen. And I'm coming back thinking, all right, I'm gone maybe 6 hours, 5 hours, whatever the case may be. Can't be anything too crazy that I missed, but you already have Gabe and Sue have already locked in their number ones for each other. And it's like that fast. So it was one of those things, but I think there's a lot of things that happen in the game that Survivor doesn't show. And I think fans, and I realize now watching it as a fan initially, we think we know everything when you watch it, right? And you're like, oh my God, like, why would you make this decision? That was so stupid. But then you don't realize there's a million other conversations that they don't show. And I think that was a part of why I was so blindsided, because it made it seem as if I was on the outs with my tribe entirely. But we've had multiple conversations where, we were talking about a plethora of decisions that we can make. And I think Tiana just ended up being like a swing vote in our situation. And I told her exactly what would happen if she swung their direction. And it happened exactly how I said it would. So, again, I think my goal, like I tried to tell Tiana, is for us being in Tiana was a strong girl. Like Tiana was stronger than half the men in our season. So I told Tiana, I said, man, you are so personable. You're strong. Me, you, and Kyle. If we stick together, we can run the game. But if we separate, people are going to get us out and they're going to pluck us off immediately. And she went that direction, and that's what happened. So unfortunately, that's how it worked out.
And you mentioned being on the outs, going on the journey. Asia was also the first person voted out from her tribe. So
exactly.
It's an advantage. Yeah,
it's an advantage. And I guess sometimes you kind of just want to play. I came into it, and I think to your point, Josh, you hit on it, like being a young fan like I am. I think I just wanted to play the game. Like I wanted to go on the journeys. I wanted to do all the different things. I wanted to have the one-on-one challenge. Like I wanted to do these things. So I didn't really care about like the consequence of it. Because in my mind, I'm like, when I get back, I'll find a way to build the relationships and I'll be fine. And I did. And honestly, I almost built relationships too good, because when I came back, immediately everybody's kind of flocking to me and they'd start building the narrative like, oh my gosh, all the guys are flocking to TK now. And like, that's a problem. People are liking this guy too much. So I don't think that I did a bad job building the relationships, but I think just taking that time out, it's not good, man. So if I were to ever get to play again, I would absolutely go on no journeys at all. I would stay on the island and I'd just be building relationships, and that would be my main goal.
Yeah, that was my next question of what do you wish you would have done differently, and what would you do differently given a second chance?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think playing aggressive though I'm going to do that regardless. I'm not going to have anybody tell me how to play. I think that's the worst way to play. So I think it's all about going in with your strategy. And I think I really like my strategy, because in my mind, I was like, I could go in here and play like a very timid game and probably make it today 15-16 before they say, look, we're at the merge. We don't want to go against this guy in individual immunity challenges. We're just going to get him out of here. I could have did that and made it to that point, but my goal was to come in and win. And if I was going to win, I needed to have big dogs with me that other people can look at. And if they're saying TK needs to go, I could point and say, wait a minute, these people are also really strong, and have those along with me. So I think that would still be the goal, but I think most of it would be more around like building real relationships with people on the island, which I tried my best to do out there. But again, it's hard to do. Once alliances get made, it doesn't matter how close you get or how many real conversations you have with people. I mean, even like Caroline, for example, we had so many real conversations out on the island, like personal conversations, and that they don't show. And it just didn't really make a difference because she already had picked who her alliance was, right? So sometimes it doesn't matter, but I think just being there early on and building it from the first day would be my priority number one.
So going back to the pregame, in Ponderosa, when you're sizing everybody up, is there someone you had pregame that you thought was like a big threat or somebody you thought could win?
Ooh, I don't know if I thought anybody was a big threat, but I will say somebody that I kind of preseason was vibing with just without talking. We just kind of had good energy was Sam and I randomly. Like Sam and I were like, for some reason, we were just laughing at the same stuff. Like when we would get our food, we're going back for seconds at the same time. Like Sam and I were just doing a lot of stupid stuff, and we just kind of had the same sense of humor. So I could kind of tell he was like a real cool dude. Genevieve and I also had really good vibes. I was I kind of looked like a creep when I was out there because I didn't bring any I didn't bring like any form of media or anything to like take like some of my time. So I didn't bring a book. I didn't bring an iPad. I didn't bring anything. I was kind of just sitting there like and just enjoying doing nothing. And everybody kind of was looking at me like, why does this kid not have anything? Like, I'm so confused. So Genevieve had offered me like one of her books or whatever to read. So I was like, oh, she's a cool person. But Tiana also gave really good vibes early on. But I don't know if I looked at anybody and said they can win. I thought I was going to win. So it was more one of those things like who can I work with? It was more how I was looking at it.
Did you recognize Asia at all from her podcasting? You had no idea who she was.
No idea. No idea.
Right?
Yeah, I wasn't that into it where I was watching podcasts and all that stuff. I was more of a casual fan. I just watched all the seasons that I could binge watch ahead of time, and I was just watching the new seasons as it was going. I never really watched a bunch of the podcasts or anything afterwards, so I had no idea who Asia was until after the game. And then she told me like who she was, and I was like, oh, that's insane. I had no idea, but I guess Andy knew who she was. But I did not know. I did not know it. Had I known that, I would have been like, wow, Asia was actually one of the people I wanted to work with the most as well. That was another person pregame where I looked and said, I think her and I could get along. And it was funny because after the game, Asia and I realized we actually had a lot of stuff in common. Like we're both part of like D9 organizations, which are like Greek life organizations on college campuses. She's an AKA, I'm a Kappa Alpha Psi. Her mom and me, we both actually have the exact same kidney disease as well. So that was like another really weird connection that we had, and it's a really rare disease. So that was crazy in itself. We both had, locks as well. So I think that was like also really, really cool. So we just had a lot of things in common. So I felt like once we had our challenge against each other, which another thing they didn't show, we had a really, really, really good conversation afterwards and was like, hey, let's work together. If we get to the merge and we're both still here, let's absolutely work together. And we called our little alliance Locked In. That was our alliance name, because of our locks. And we never got to have that come to fruition, but that was the goal, man. I think we would have did damage if we both had made it.
Yeah, we definitely missed out on getting her to see her play longer. Absolutely.
Oh, she would have killed it, man. I think she got, again, like I said, Josh, it depends on who you're on an island with, right? Like I think Asia, if Asia's on our tribe, if you swap Asia with Caroline on our tribe, both Asia and I go significantly further than what we went, right? I think it just depends who you get put with sometimes, you know what I mean? And I would have had no idea who Asia was, so that wouldn't even have been a bad thing for her on our tribe.
So at the time that you were voted out, did you have someone specific that you thought would win? Did you ever think it was going to be Rachel? No,
because you guys got to remember too, like, it's not like we know each other, right? So like the only time we're seeing these people are at the challenges, and it's not like you can really talk to them. You compete in your challenge and then you get on your boat and you go your separate direction. So I didn't really know Rachel. I didn't know Sam. I didn't know any of these people, right? Outside of just seeing them sitting in the chairs with me when we were at Ponderosa. And that's the only thing I really knew about them. But outside of that, it was impossible to know anybody outside of your tribe of like who could win. So in my mind, all I knew was who my box was. And I didn't really know who was going to take it. And once they told me Rachel, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then afterwards, we all did a trip together. Before our season dropped, we all did a trip together to Chicago. And we just decided, let's do this before we all start hating each other and we see all the shit that everybody talk about each other. Let's just go on a trip and get to know each other first. And that was an amazing trip. And that's how a lot of us got close. And, that's how I really realized how Rachel won, because Rachel is like one of the coolest human beings in the world. And I love Rachel to death. And that's my dog. And I can see how she won. I can definitely see how she won. And she's incredibly smart as well. So made a lot of sense.
So what do you think of her as a winner, and how does she compare to other winners of the show?
I mean, I think she's a great winner. I think at the same time, I think there's some people who just feel like there wasn't a lot of crazy moves made in her gameplay, but at the same time, like it wasn't necessary, right? Like she played the exact perfect game she needed to play, and she pounced when she needed to pounce. And I think that's what good Survivor players do, right? So I think she stacks up there with all of them. I think obviously it just depends on the style of gameplay you like to see. If you like somebody who's really running around and just going crazy like me, I'm that type of person. Tony's my favorite player of all time, right? Like he was just all over the place, and I love that about him, right? He just played that type of game. So it really just depends what your appetite is and the type of vibe you like. And that's going to kind of be the winners you associate yourself with the most.
And I have to ask about, your season's boot list being leaked. What do you know about that whole situation with Rome?
So I actually don't know much. I know he did do something along those lines, and everybody was kind of pissed off about it. Again, at that point, I was kind of checked out. I was like, look, man, I'm back home now. I got to just try to lock back in. I had to go right back to my work life. But I did see that happened, and I seen a lot of people were upset about it. And I won't spill our cast business here, but they handled it the way they needed to handle it. And I think, Rome knows that wasn't the thing he should have done. And I don't know if Rome cares though. So that's the only thing. Rome doesn't care probably one bit how anybody feels about it. So.
Yeah, man, I'm sure, if you guys have a, group chat, I'm sure people are like, Rome, when the heck you just spoiled the whole season,
Yeah, and now you got different pods of group chats. We'll put it like that. You got multiple group chats now since that's happened. So there's no main one anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your casting was very close. You're probably the closest of the new era, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, we're all. I think for the most part, every season has their drama, right? I think the season right before ours, they had some crazy drama going on too.
Oh yeah.
I think that's just a part of it. When you put 18 human beings from totally different backgrounds together and say, go do this one crazy, ridiculous thing, once in a lifetime thing, and figure it out. I mean, you're obviously gonna have times where you bump heads. You're gonna have people who don't necessarily like each other, and that's fine. But I think for our season, mostly, I think everybody's pretty cool. But obviously, you have your buckets. You have like your pre-merge group who are a little bit closer because we spent so much time in Ponderosa together. And then you have like your post-merge group who's a little bit closer because they spent so much time on island and in Ponderosa together. And then the only time we really all were together was when we did our trip to Chicago, and then we went to like a finale in LA. And I think it's up to us. It's just like the game, right? You got to take time to get to know each other and use your social skills and build relationships. And I think that's how like myself and Rachel got super cool, and myself and Genevieve got super cool because we went out of our way to make sure we were like talking to each other and getting to know each other. So.
Yeah, I mean, with no live reunion these days, after the show, it's up to you if you want to meet the rest of your cast. Have you met everybody on the cast?
Yeah. On my cast?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We all we all had our whole trip together. So we've done trips together now. Even when we went to LA for the finale, we all went to Universal Studios together, which was an amazing time, and just was riding all the rides and doing all the good stuff. We all know each other's. Like, I know all their spouses and significant others and all that good stuff. And they're like family now too. So we're all good. We're all family. I think now we're 2 years removed. So people are starting to really just sink back into their real lives again. But again, you have the people like I'd say I'm the closest with like Asia, myself, Tiana, and Annika probably talk the most. And then I have personal relationships with like Rachel and Genevieve where I talk to them occasionally too. But we talk all the time between Tiana, Asia, and Annika and I. So.
What about Sam, being a big sports guy just like you?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I thought Sam and I would end up like connecting outside of it just from what we do for work. And we haven't really connected much. Sam is also huge in the Survivor community. He does all the different meetups and he's doing those things. And I haven't really been going to much of those because I'm always traveling for work. So I miss a lot of that stuff. But I mean, Sam he's a cool kid, man. He's a cool cat. Every time we've hung out, it's been fun times. It's never been a bad vibe with him. He's awesome, man. I think if we had an opportunity to hang out more, we would. But he's a real cool dude. And like Saul's my guy too. Like Saul's cool as hell. I forgot to mention Saul. Shout out to Saul. That's my dog. Me and him connect on our fitness stuff all the time. So that's my brother right there too. But yeah, man, you hope to hang with people all the time. But once real life starts, man, it's just like high school. You got your high school friends. When you guys see each other for the reunion, it's like, oh my God, man, it's like we never left. But once you go back to your normal lives, it's like everybody's back in their own bubbles.
Yeah, you guys really had a great cast. But what was your favorite part of the whole Survivor experience? Was it the friends you made along the way or something else?
I think, honestly, to be honest with you, Josh, I proved a lot to myself, man. And if I were to tell you right now, like I was out on that island sleeping with bugs and crawling on me and going to the bathroom in the ocean and hunting for crabs and just living off the wilderness, I would have never imagined I could do it. So I think the biggest thing I took from it was like, holy shit, like I can really do anything I put my mind to. And I put myself in this extraordinary situation and I was okay. And honestly, Josh, like that was the biggest thing I was worried about was like, I was like, I'm going to end up being so depressed out there that like, just with the living situation. And honestly, once I was in the game, I was able to flip my mind so quick to just say, this is my life now. This is how I'm living. So I can't change it. And I kind of adapted super quick to that. You know what I mean? So I think just being out in Fiji, man, was just amazing. Like just that experience. It looks unreal when you're out there. It's crazy and as crisp as it looks on TV. It's 10 times that when you're there, and it doesn't even feel real when you're standing there on the sand and you're looking out into it. So I think just some of this little stuff like that, where we're just sitting around the fire and the little stuff they don't show. We had like a bird. There's like a bird. We named him Bud. They have birds on the island that actually burrow themselves and they sleep underground. So they create these huge holes in the ground, and they kind of cover them with like little nest things, so you don't even know that they're there. And we used to have this bird that would come out every night, and it was not afraid of us because it has no natural predators on that island. So the birds are just out there, and there's like big turkey looking things, but they're black. And they would just walk up right up to the fire and sit by the fire with us every night and chill and hang out. And then he would go back and bury right next to us. So we kind of had a little neighbor there. So it was just funny stuff like that, where you're just remembering the moments where you were out there, or we were just sitting out on the island looking at the moon and looking at the stars because there's, a blank sky because there's no lights or anything over where you're at. So just seeing those little things, man, and just having this beautiful ocean view every day you wake up. I think the stuff you take for granted, man, just that type of experience. I think that was awesome. That's the biggest part.
So based on your own experience, what advice would you give to future players of the game?
Yeah, I think just be yourself, man. If you come into the game, you get the blessing enough to actually be able to play. Don't half-ass it. Don't go out there and play timid. Play you. Be aggressive. Be however you are in real life. Take that over, or however you told yourself you want to play in the game. Play it, because the last thing you want to do, it's easier to regret how far you could have made it, but it's harder to regret looking at yourself playing a game that you don't even agree with yourself, right? So you don't want to look at yourself on screen and say, that's not me. So always just be yourself, play your game, and however the cards fall, they fall. And that's one thing I say JP told us. That's Jeff. I call Jeff JP, by the way. That's one thing that JP told us. He was just like, listen, like 17 of you guys are going to lose. So you might as well just come into it with the mindset that you've already lost and just go balls to the wall and play hard. And who cares how the dominoes fall? You're already out here. You've already won by being out here. So if you get the blessing to go out there, play hard. Don't care about what the fans say. Don't care about what other players say, how you should have played. Play how you play, because there's no right strategy in the game of Survivor. All strategies work. We've seen a million different strategies win the game. So there's no right way to do it. Just do it the way you feel is right.
So I imagine you're keen to play Survivor again that you'd want to do, but is there any other shows you'd be interested in, or is it just Survivor that you would want to do? Is there any other shows?
Survivor I'd love to do again. Just, that's the creme de la creme right there, man. So Survivor I'd love to do again. I wouldn't be mad at the challenge either. I like physical stuff. So I'd like to play, if I were to go play another game, I'd like to play something where I can actually show off my physical ability and be a little bit more in that aspect of it. So I feel like something like the challenge would kind of fit more my style, because I could be a little bit more aggressive in that gameplay. You don't necessarily have to cater to everybody's like emotions the same way as you do in the Survivor game. So I think that would be a cool show to be on as well. I actually, knowing you're on Big Brother, I haven't watched Big Brother yet. I hear good things about it, but I heard you're like in the house for like 3 or 4 months, and I was like, okay, I don't think I can get that amount of time off. So.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about the challenge first. I mean, so like they haven't called you, because I imagine you'd be a shoo-in for a show like the challenge. Like
I would think so too. I haven't. I didn't get any calls or anything from it, which is fine. It's no worries. The funny thing is, I didn't even come into Survivor for the TV aspect. That was the last thing I cared about, was being on TV. I would have went and did this game if there were no cameras out there. I think the big thing for me is, one, the game looks like it's just the funnest game of all time to play. You get to go to an island and be a big kid for a month, which is incredible. And then it's $1 million on the line. So it's like, yeah, I'm doing it for that. Like, so the TV aspect of it wasn't really something that was like a big deal for me. If I got any opportunities from it, great. But it wasn't something that I was like, I absolutely have to have this happen. I actually did end up meeting the guy who won the challenge last year. He's a real cool dude too. And he was telling me that I should reach out, and he gave me the person, but I was like, I don't think I need to. I think I'm just going to just hang up and chill and just wait for, if Survivor ever gives our early boot promise, our big promising characters a chance. Maybe we get a season with all the good early boots in there. You know what I mean? That'd be fun.
Yeah, and two people from your cast so far have returned to reality TV: Genevieve on Survivor and Sue on Beast Games. Did you watch Beast Games with Sue, or you didn't catch that?
No, yeah, and honestly, anybody who watched our season knows Sue and I had a very contentious relationship on the island, and we're chill now. We're cordial now for sure, but no, I'm not. I didn't even know what Beast Games was until I started seeing like the previews of the fact that they may be doing something with Survivor and all that. So I had no idea what that even was at the time. So. But I'm glad she's getting it. She's doing her thing. She wanted to get more into that world, it seems like, and it's good she's getting those opportunities. So I'm happy for her for sure.
So who else from your cast besides yourself do you want to see return to reality TV other than Genevieve and Sue, who already have?
Yeah, like I said, I gotta throw Annika every time because she's made for it. She's literally must see TV all the time. I love Kyle too, man. Kyle's my guy. So if he'd ever want to, I think he's just like, he can't even help but be authentically him. And I think that's something that's always good for TV. I don't think fans want to see people they feel like are playing a role or acting. You know what I mean? And I feel like certain people like him, they're just who they are. And you got to love that. I think Tiana is also another person I think who just has great energy. But I think all of our cast is made for it. I mean, Rome obviously is a very contentious person as well. I think a lot of people could get rubbed the wrong way from Rome. But I think when you're talking about TV, that's kind of what you want in TV. You kind of want half the people to hate you and half the people to love you because then everybody's talking about you. So yeah, I think we had a lot of interesting characters in our season, and we were kind of all over the place with characters there.
Are you familiar with the show on Peacock, House of Villains? I could see Rome doing House of Villains.
Yeah, I have seen. I haven't watched it, but I have seen a lot of the different things on it. And yes, he could absolutely do that. I think he would lean into that incredibly well. I don't think he has any problem being the villain. I think that's just kind of ingrained in him. I think that's what he wanted to do coming into the show. He's like, I want to be this type of player. And again, I think he even took that character on like outside of the show. I think he started doing some of that method acting, right? Like he actually just started believing this is who he is now. So he took some of that a little bit off the court too. But yeah, I think he'd fit right in over there. And I think he'd be a problem for anybody because he can be a top villain for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned Big Brother before. I just briefly want to touch on it because it's ultimately a Big Brother podcast. So you've never seen the show? You don't know anything about Big Brother?
I don't know. I know you're in the house, and I know you're there for a long time. I don't know exactly how many months. What is it, 3 or 4 months or so?
Yeah, 9,200 days.
Oh my gosh, so that is actually insane. But that seems like a real cool concept. But are you doing challenges too? Like, is it the same type of concept?
It's just Survivor in House, really. That's the easiest way to put it.
Well, maybe I need to look into it because Survivor in the House sounds a lot better than Survivor outside the house. So that sounds cool. I like that. Okay. And has there been a lot of Survivor players who played that?
Sari was on 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. How'd she do?
Yeah. She got 5th place. She did very well.
Not bad at all. Not bad. How many people start in Big Brother?
16.
16. Okay, Sari. Hold it down for the Survivor people. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, there's been 3 people who've done both. Okay. Yes, there's only 3 people. So,
any of the new era people have done it yet, or are there none of them?
No. The other 2 were Caleb from Co Wrong, and he came back for Game Changers, medically evacuated him. He did Big Brother first, and then the other one was Hayden from Blood versus Water with his girlfriend Kat. He won Big Brother, and then he came on Survivor.
Wow. Oh, he won. Oh, so he did it the reverse way. He did Big Brother first, and then got Survivor. Oh, wow, that's awesome. So he's a problem. I wonder how he did on Survivor. I got to go look at that season again.
He did pretty good. He came very close to winning.
Yeah, see, and that's what I feel like certain people are just built. Like a person like Sari, doesn't matter which show you put her on, she's going to find a way to finagle her way to the top somehow. So I think some people just got it in them, man.
Yeah, and I think there's a few people in your cast who are Big Brother fans who I think would do well on the show. Like Teeny. I think Teeny's a Big Brother fan. I think Teeny would do well on Big Brother.
Teeny's awesome, man. Teeny's also that's another person. Sorry, I missed on Teeny, man. Teeny is one of those people where she can get along. Teeny can get along with literally anybody, right? And I think that's something that's so hard to do for a lot of people. And it just wasn't for Teeny ever. Like Teeny just was always locked in on building relationships and being so open and like always being her himself. So Teeny's always just been doing what Teeny does. So we love Teeny for that.
So you don't watch Big Brother, but what other reality shows do you watch?
I used to watch more reality shows back in the day. It used to be like Real World. Like I used to really love Real World for whatever reason. And I know that actually ended up like turning into the challenge, right?
Yep.
So that's what that ended up being anyway. So I think Real World was it. And then I started watching the challenge for a bit. And then I got into Survivor late. But Survivor was really my first intro outside of the Real World to competitive game show, like type of style of show. So it was all new for me. And that's why I fell in love with Survivor so much. And I'm one of those people where if I find something I like, if I go to a restaurant and I order this chicken Alfredo and it's bomb the first time I go, I'm ordering chicken Alfredo every single time I go to that restaurant. So I'm kind of similar like that with that as well. If I watch Survivor, so that just became my show. And that was like the only show I watched. And I felt like it was almost like I was cheating on Survivor if I watched anything else. But now that I'm learning all these different shows and different dynamics, I'm opening up to watching different stuff too. Like I did a podcast with the traders before. And so I watched like a couple episodes of that. And that's like a really interesting show as well. So yeah, it's all types of different stuff out here now, man. It's a million different shows now. So just got to find what your flavor is.
So how has your personal life or your career been impacted by your time on Survivor?
It's been interesting, man. I work with a lot of players. I work with a lot of agents, obviously a lot of different sponsors and huge accounts. And it's funny because when I onboard different accounts now and I bring them on and just kind of tell them about our services and I pop on camera, they're like, oh my God, you're TK from Survivor. And I get so much of that now that like even partners don't even call me by my actual name. They're all calling me TK now. And it's just hilarious. But I think it's been funny because just there's more players who know me now from that than they do from the work that I'm doing with them. So it has been funny just seeing how big Survivor is. You don't realize how big it is until you get on a show like this. And then you start seeing like there's people who know every single cast member of every single season. And it's like incredible to just see the recall that these people have. And I mean, we've went to meetups before where we've done like autograph signings and I've met fans who I'm like, tell me the whole cast on season 9. And they're like, yep, got you right now. And they can recall it. And it's just like, oh my God. So, I mean, the following around Survivor is just incredible. And I think just even in my work life, you see it. There's fans all over the place, fans you would have never guessed. And Sam even told me one of his players with the Titans, because, you know, he works for the Titans. One of his players with the Titans had mentioned that he had picked me on his Survivor, on like his Survivor draft. And I kind of let him down, but it was just funny to know that the players were looking at it like that too. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know any NFL players? Do NFL players watch Survivor?
Not that I know that personally watch Survivor now. Well, I know there's people who watch me just because they knew I was on it. But I don't know if any of them were like die hard into it prior to. But I mean, I work with so many NFL players now. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of them that watch it. That just needs to, honestly, you know what, Josh, now that I've had this conversation, I'm going to make that more of a topic of discussion when I'm talking to some of these guys. Figure out if any of these guys are watching that. That might be a good plug-in.
And what about like in the past? There's been quite a few NFL players who've been on Survivor in the past. Have you connected with any of them or?
Haven't had the chance to connect. I mean, we had some coaches on there. We've had coaches on there. Jim Johnson was there. We had some players. But a lot of those guys are a lot older now. They're not necessarily even in the NFL space as much anymore. And I'm so more on the marketing side of it. So a lot of my job is actually booking deals for these players. And most of those deals are funneling through. The active players are like recently retired players. So totally different narrative. But again, that's a good reason to reach out. If I ever had some business inquiries, that would be kind of like my touch base. So like, hey, we also did this together, but I got some stuff for you. So that would be cool to talk to them.
Yeah, so myself, just like you, I'm big sports guy. So let's talk some sports. So tell me in each sport, what is your team? What's your team for NBA, NFL?
Yeah. So NBA, I'm kind of casual. I love the NBA though, watch it all the time, but I'm more of a casual fan. I used to be a Lakers fan when Kobe was there, just like everybody, right? I was a diehard Laker guy. Then Kobe left, and I was like, all right, this just doesn't feel like the Lakers anymore. So then I kind of just casually just like players now. But now a team that's like, I won't say I'm a fan of theirs, but I love the way they're playing right now is the Spurs. They are a really tough team right now to beat, and Wemby's unbelievable. So I think they're a dog. Now football, that's my diehard everything. That's my number one passion in life. I'm a diehard Broncos fan. And it makes it hard being in the business because, you know, obviously knowing, again, how the sausage gets made, it's a little bit harder to just be a fan of the team the same way when I know all the players, I know all the coaches, I know all the agents. But I'm a diehard Broncos fan through and through, man. And we had a great year this year. Had my guy Bo Nix not get his ankle fractured. We're probably in the Super Bowl, and I get to watch my team. I go to every Super Bowl too, so I get to watch my team in the Super Bowl in person. Would have been cool, but that's my team. It's been my team my whole life. I've never actually been to Denver before in my life. So
how do you become a Broncos fan?
It's funny enough. It was my older cousin. I don't know if you have a lot of cousins or siblings, but my older cousin, he used to be like the ringleader for all of us, and there was a bunch of. My grandmom has like 16 grandkids, and I think like 12 of us are boys. So there's a lot of boys. And growing up, he was the oldest, and we used to always just follow him and whatever he did. And for whatever reason, we were in the golden era in the Broncos then, where we had John Elway, Terrell Davis, all this stuff, and Shannon Sharp, and he became a Broncos fan. And once he became a Broncos fan, we all became Broncos fans. Mm-hmm. And once I started to actually learn the game, that's what I knew at that point, and I just stuck with my team. And you know, as a diehard fan of any team, you can't do any switching, right? There's no switching allowed. You stick with your team, and Broncos is my team, and I just fell in love with them, man. I wouldn't ask for a better team. I don't think there's a better franchise out there.
What about baseball? Are you into baseball at all?
So baseball, I like just because I like to sports bet a little bit. So I like to build my parlays up. So I do a lot of baseball bets. But again, I learned a lot about baseball and a lot about hockey from actually betting on it. You know what I mean? Because once you got your money on it, now you're like actually watching the games and learning the sport. So I don't have a favorite team per se, but I mean, obviously when I was living in Los Angeles, I started really liking the Dodgers. And obviously they're a powerhouse team as well. But there's a lot of like, even the Orioles were decent for a year. Not last year, they weren't great, but the year before that, they were doing pretty good. So the local teams are good. I try to represent them if I can, but there's a lot of teams out there that I feel like, that got some talent, and you just got to watch them play. But I'm ready for baseball season to spark back up again because I can start getting my parlays back going.
Yeah, a goal of mine, I want to go to all 30 MLB stadiums and all 30 NBA arenas. So far for MLB, I've been to 14. I've been to almost half.
Oh, wow.
NBA, I've been to NBA, I've been to 14. Wait, no. NBA, I've been to 5. I'm going to Atlanta on Tuesday. I'm going to be in Atlanta Tuesday, watch Nets Hawks. Oh, yeah. And then MLB, I've been to half, been to 14. So
what's your favorite arena stadium for both? Favorite baseball, favorite basketball?
So basketball, I've been to Nets, Knicks, Sixers, Celtics, Wizards. Okay. I mean, you got to go Madison Square Garden, right?
Exactly. Okay, figured. Okay.
And then MLB, I've been to everything on the East Coast. I mean, Boston has a nice stadium. They've been around for 100 years. But I mean, I go to Yankee Stadium, once or twice a season, so I'm always at Yankee Stadium.
You're a Yankee Stadium guy. Do you feel more like you like the older stadiums that have more of the nostalgia to it, or do you like more of the newer stadiums that may have more of the bells and whistles and all that type of stuff?
I mean, I think Boston and Chicago, Wrigley Field being sold, like the nostalgia that's been there for 100 years. So I like those ones. I haven't been to Wrigley Field. I've been to the other Chicago White Sox, but I haven't been to Wrigley.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. And that's how I feel about I want to go to Green Bay Stadium for whatever reason, like the Packers. I just want to see it just because there's so much history there. And I just found obviously the Broncos are creating a new stadium now too. And I'm like, damn, I have to get out to Denver and go to Mile High Stadium before they move on to the new one. You know what I mean? And get to see the field, how it was in Mile High Stadium and all that magic. So I feel you on the nostalgia stadiums. Those are kind of a little bit cooler. It might be a little bit more uncomfortable. I've seen the pictures of the Green Bay Packers Stadium, and they still have bleacher seating. It looks like old school bleacher seating from the 60s. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So my team's, I'm a Nets fan for basketball. For baseball, I'm a Yankees fan. In my man cave, the walls are painted in Yankee pinstripes, big Yankees fan. Yep. And then hockey, I'm not really into. And then football, I'm a Jets fan. So.
Oh my God, man. You are going through it right now with your Nets and your Jets, man.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're
loyal, like you said. Huh?
I said that's how you know you're a real fan, though, because if you're sticking with those teams, you're a real fan, man.
Yeah, gotta stay loyal. So then I wanted to ask you that I saw that you did sport management in college, and so I'm 2 years out of college. I did sport management as well. So what advice do you have for someone like myself who's trying to crack into sports?
Yeah, man, I'd say sports is one of the most interesting industries to get into, man. It's a huge who you know business. So it's really based off relationship. It's honestly a lot like Survivor. It's really based on relationships, and a lot of that is getting to know the right people who can put you in the right positions, right? And I tell people all the time, like even at my company, I'd say maybe 40% of the staff at our company were in there because of someone they knew, right? So if you're trying to get into that sport business, I would say network is everything. Try to go to as many things as possible, whether that be conventions, whether that's agency events, whatever style of sport you want to be in, whatever role you want to have, put yourself in those spaces, because if you're not in those spaces, it's really quick to get forgotten about. And sports moves really, really fast. And it's one of those things where if you're not in it or you step away from it for a while and you try to come back to it, it's even hard to get back into it. So sports is just one of those things, man. You got to stay connected. And a big part of my job is being connected with everybody, right? I'm being connected with sponsors and licensees, being connected with agents and reps, being connected with players. I have to know literally everything about everybody. And I think that's a big part of the job. So I would say if you want to get into it, make sure you're networking, make sure you're comfortable talking, make sure you're comfortable just putting yourself out there, man, because it may start off where you're not necessarily in the position that you want to be in, but it's a really top-heavy industry, man. You got a lot of people who are up here making all the money, and then you got a lot of people who are doing all the work who are way down here. So once you get yourself kind of in the middle, that's when you know you're making the right wave. So I started as an intern with my company, and I just kind of made my way up from intern to coordinator to manager, and now I'm making next steps to senior manager soon. So yeah, it takes some time, man, but if you want to get into it, man, we could definitely connect though, man. Build the network.
Yeah, this is my forget Survivor. I just want to talk sports and connect with you. So
absolutely,
now we have this relationship. It's all about relationships. You can get me in now, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I got you, man. If you need something, you let me know, Josh, man, and I'll look out for sure.
Yeah, but NBA and then baseball is the sports I'm into. I'm not really into football as much, but basketball will be the sport I want to get into.
Same things, man, because the agents, you got to think these agents I work with, their agencies work for all sports. They don't just work for football. So they do, like, you look at like Clutch, right? That's LeBron's agency there. Like I have some of my best friends work over at Clutch. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where they get to work with the LeBrons of the world. And I get a little jealous sometimes. They get NBA players. They actually do like on-air talent too. So you get people like who you see like your broadcasters, they represent them too. So they kind of touch all aspects of everything, man. So they get to expand their network a little bit more than me.
If you're on LinkedIn, I'll send you a LinkedIn friend request after this.
I am for sure. Yeah. We'll tap in. Absolutely.
So what's next for you, TK? Any projects or appearances or anything coming up for you?
No, man. I'm in my travel time of year right now, man. Like at this moment is when a lot of the deals get done for these guys. A lot of people always think our schedule gets busy when we're in season. But for me, not really, because players do less deals when they're actually in season, right? Because they're focusing on football. So this time of year, I'm managing a lot of different things. I do a lot of stuff for like EA Sports. I don't know if you play like Madden and all those type of things. That's one of my accounts. So I do a lot for them. So I'm going to be on the road a bunch of these next few months. I think every single month until September, I have to leave for a work trip. So I'll be racking up the flight miles for the next few months, man. So just preparing for that and trying to rest up as much as I can.
Yes, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. So where can people find you online?
Yeah, I'm really just on Instagram. You can find me at TK_DE_Hefe. So TK to Hefe. Just something I came as a nickname I got stuck with years ago, and I just kind of kept it. It's always just had a ring to it. But we could connect there. LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn as well under my real name, Taryn Foster, if anybody doesn't know. But yeah, those are my two mediums that I use the most. But TK to Hefe is my Instagram. That's where I'm most active.
All right, TK, this was a great time. Thank you for coming on, and we'll be in touch. All right.
Appreciate you, Josh, man. Look forward to seeing you soon, brother.
Okay, thanks.